the presentation, Saving the Tasmanian Devil, the zoo visit experience, is about a particular project, as you can tell, working with Zoos Victoria, whose vision, you might be interested to know, is to be the world's leading zoo-based conservation organization. Zoo staff are strongly committed to this, and part of what they're doing as part of that is working toward fighting the extinction of species, particularly Australian species. So you might think, well, wildlife and ecosystem management, that's how you save species. But to be honest, that's not what's going to save species. It's important, but it's not enough. What we need to save species is for us to change our attitudes and behavior. It is a lot to do with what we do. And that's where our research comes into this project. How to use best practice interpretation is what my expertise is, to promote visitor understanding, promote visitor caring, but most importantly to promote action to save species like the Tasmanian devil. So I worked with an international research team. We did interviews, we did an on-site survey, and we did observations. This was late in 2015 at Healesville Sanctuary, which is one of 3 properties managed by Zoos Victoria. So our study focused on the Tassie devil and examined how signs, zookeeper talks, and the experience basically of seeing real Tassie devils impacts people's understanding of the plight of the species and what these people might feel and do in response to that. So you might say, well, what is the plight of this devil? The plight of the Tasmanian devil is that it is currently under serious threat of extinction, and I mean serious, by a deadly disease that some of you may have heard of called the devil facial tumor disease, or DFTD. Most Australian visitors to the zoo, we found, do know about DFTD, and they were generally aware that devils are threatened with extinction in the wild by this disease. Also, visitors to the zoo were quite aware of what the zoo is doing, and they're quite supportive of the work they're doing in terms of breeding, maintaining what's called an insurance population to create a disease-free body of devils. We also found, interestingly, that visitors also, they know things, but they also care about devils. And we weren't sure that that would be a finding, but we found some really interesting people's feelings about devils. For example, one visitor said to us, well, it's just very sad about the disease and what they've got. Another visitor said, oh, when that get that disease, you know, it's not long before they go down, and it must be just horrible. So they're very caring. They know enough. We know that some of that is coming from visitors at the zoo seeing active devils and watching zookeepers feed and interact with devils in particular. But interestingly, we found that only about 20% of the visitors to the exhibit actually got to see a devil keeper talk, which is a really important way of learning some of these messages. And key signs that the zoo invests a lot of money into to do were ignored by 85% of the visitors we interviewed and we observed. So we learned that most visitors know and care, but the key thing, as I said at the beginning, is what are visitors actually willing to do? And actually we found that visitors, there's very low intentions on the part of people to actually take action. And this is partly because visitors don't feel personally responsible. They told us, well, it's not our problem. It's the government's problem. So it's not our responsibility. So that's something we really need to address. And another barrier is that the only thing you can do as a member of the public is you can donate money. And you can talk about the problem and try to get that talk into the lines of government listeners that can actually make a difference as well. So it seems that we concluded that visitors caring and feeling is happening, and that's important, but we really want to convert that to action. And so we were able to give some of the findings back to the zoo from our study of how they can improve the experience to maybe try to turn that feeling into action. We're excited about continuing to work with Zoos Victoria, but I have to conclude by saying we feel really privileged as a team. It's an international team of researchers that we continue to partnership with Zoos Victoria, and we feel really really valued and that we're playing a role in helping prevent the extinction of this wonderful little species. Thank you.